Right, okay. So, good morning, Nilamai. Today we'll start week number 16 paper, science week number 16. So, here last week we discussed the 15 paper. Today we have to discuss 16 paper. So, in this paper, mainly we have discussed 40 MCQs, two structured and one essay, especially some guys having issues with structured question, second question, and the essay question also. So because of that, I hope to discuss that difficult parts also. But anyway, first we'll move with the MCQ. I will more engage with the most important ones and some parts we discussed earlier, so no need to start with those. Um, I will quickly discuss those, otherwise we can't manage the time. And also I send you a tube, that's a unit revision one, grade 10 in quantification of elements. So some questions we'll discuss also because it's a hard part, it will inform for your term test. Okay, so we'll start. Think. Okay, so first question, following results were obtained when sample of food is subjected for two laboratory tests. Um, so here they mention Benedict test, briquette precipitate, biurate test, no change of color. Last week, I think I mentioned something. Okay, sorry, I think connection issue comes. Anyway, we'll continue. I think you can hear me clearly. Start again. So Benedict test, briquette precipitate, and biurate test, no change in color. Biurate test used for what? To identify which to identify the proteins, right? So biurate killer, there is no solution. How we prepare biurate? What are the two things we use? Two compounds or two solutions we use to prepare biurate. So what are the two things? Sodium hydroxide plus copper sulfate. Sodium hydroxide plus copper sulfate. So mixture of sodium hydroxide plus copper sulfate we take as biurate. Right. So as biurate and Benedict test we use for glucose, right? So here then biurate result as then Benedict briquette precipitate can definitely it's glucose, right? Glucose, so it's made elements when known as CHO. CHON විදියක් නෑ. CHON වෙන්න පුළුවන් protein තියෙනවනේ. There's no protein here. So then first one is the answer. I think last week or last week I mentioned about the sucrose test. Sucrose test එක just study කරන්න මොකද ඒක ටිකක් it's a kind of a hard part for most of the children because like lack of not memory because for sucrose test what we do is mainly first we do the Benedict test, then no result. That part most of the guys missed. Right? First you need to do Benedict test, then no result. එතකොට අපි clear කරගන්නවා එතන glucose නැහැ කියලා. Then we do which one? When we put sulfuric. Sulfuric we put for breaking the bonds. කියන්නේ disaccharide එකක් විදිහින් sucrose කියන්නේ. So to break the bonds, we put what? Sulfuric, and then sorry, and then you need to put sodium hydroxide to what? To neutralize the medium. Neutralize කරන්න sodium hydroxide දාන්න ඕනේ. ඒක neutralize වුණාද කියලා check කරගන්න you need to use pH papers. හරි ඔය steps ටික මතක තියාගන්න. මුලින්ම Benedict test එක කරන්න ඕනේ. Benedict solution දාලා ඊට පස්සේ no result, then sulfuric, sodium hydroxide neutralize that, then again Benedict test, then break bonds ටික break වෙලා again. So now they give the result as positive result. Brick red precipitate වෙන්න පුළුවන්. නැත්නම් අර color series එකේ මැද හරියක ඔක නවතින්නත් පුළුවන්. හරි. අපි දන්නවනේ ඔක green, yellow ඒ විදිහට change වෙමින් යන්නේ. ඊට පස්සේ orange වෙනවා finally brick red precipitate. මැද නවතින්න පුළුවන්. That also asking 24 paper. They not mentioned as brick red precipitate. They mention yellowish color or orange color. So that you need to know that it's a middle period of that this colors change. මොකද glucose concentration එක ගොඩක් high වුණාම තමයි අපිට brick red precipitate එක ගන්න පුළුවන්. If it is a low level concentration of glucose, then we can't take brick red precipitate, right? And also, this is an additional point, but this is not mentioned in your book. But in edX, Cambridge, they mostly ask this one. The Benedict result in the glucose glucose. So there are other two monosaccharides. What are those? Fructose and galactose. So fructose and galactose positive result there. एक පොඩ්ඩක් additionally ඔයාලගේ discussion එකේ note එකක් හදනවා ඒ note එක පොඩ්ඩක් ලියා ගන්න. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි කියනවා reducing sugars කියලා monosaccharides තුනම reducing sugars. එතකොට ඒ තුනම Benedict test එකට positive result එනවා. Right. So that's the additional one. I don't think that will ask in exam, but it's a common question in මේ area එකේ ආනත් දැන් normally syllabus තුනක් තියෙනවානේ Excel Cambridge local තුනේ තාම ඇත්තොන්. It's a common question in those foreign papers. Okay. So second one, what are the main waste products excreted by an organism? Main waste products excreted by an organism. Carbon dioxide, water, urea, salt, carbon dioxide, and water. Third one contains most of the excretory material, so we go with third one, but question has some kind of confusion. But anyways, we can go with third one. It's fine. Third question, what is the animal proof? So, under second one, just you need to know what is metabolism. Why fecal matter is not considered as a excretory material, and those parts need, and also urinary system. I think you guys remember urinary system. Maybe study next time. I think some classes are still stuck with that lesson. That long lesson. So anyway, just you can study and answer more questions from that, past paper questions and Western province, and you have other papers. So answer questions will answer most effective way. With otherwise, like just only studying is no point. Then third one, what is the animal proof that bats and whales belong? Yeah, they comes under mammalia. Always fish case reptilia, the other answers. So it's mammalia. Fourth one, how many magnesium atoms are present in 48 grams of magnesium? So I mostly ask to write an equation when you do this kind of question. So magnesium, we can write an equation like this. Magnesium 1 mole. How many atoms in a one mole of magnesium? How many atoms? It's 6.022 10 to the power 23 atoms. Right? 6.022 10 to the power 23 atoms. So what the mass? Mass of one mole? It's equal to their relative atomic mass. It's equal to the relative atomic mass of magnesium. So what the value? It's 24. 24 grams, right? So this is we called as what? Molar mass of magnesium. Molar mass of magnesium. So magnesium 1 mole contains 6.02 to 10 to the power 23 atoms and it is equal for 24 grams. Right? Then this number is given in your question, they mention in exam also they mention the relative atomic mass. So no worry, just put gram symbol here, then it's okay. This one you need to remember 1 mole of particular atom, particular element contains 6.02 to 10 to the power 23 atoms. This number we called as Avogadro constant. So then this particular question, what they ask is 48 grams. 48 grams. Then how many atoms? Then make it 48 වෙලා දෙන්නේ 2 වලින් multiply කරලා into 2. So here also should be multiplied by 2. So we're going to make it 2 වලින් multiply වෙනවා. So 23 and that's also applicable here. Here it's magnesium 2 moles. Right? So in question, sometimes they ask moles, sometimes they ask atomic count, sometimes this one. It doesn't matter. They can ask any one of these 3 columns, but if you write this basic one, then you can answer for any question. Right? I will come to that unit revision at the later part. So there are also some questions there. I will discuss that for people that who are not confident about that. Yeah, so join. Wait until the later part. I will discuss that. First, we finish this one. Fifth one, which of the following compounds contain covalent bonds while being polar? Polarization. Which polarization depends on which factor? What's the factor? How we define polarization of a molecule depends on which factor. Mainly affect what is the main factor affecting the polarity? That is electronegativity, right? Electronegativity. So it's basically depend on electronegativity. But not only electronegativity. It's also depend on another factor that is that distribution of electrons, right? How electrons are distributed around the central atom. Electron distribution, whether electron distribution is symmetrical or asymmetrical, electron distribution. So the main factors දෙකම affect වෙනවා. දැන් අපි example එකක් ගත්තොත් මෙතන NH3 එක NH3 we can draw like this. So Lewis structure you have to draw first. Right? ඒක බැරුව මුකුත් කරන්න බෑ. NH3 ඇදලා then මේකේ nitrogen octet completed now, we need to put 2 electrons here. Then what happened? So nitrogen have the higher electronegativity. It's kind of 3.0 like in here 2.1. So bonded electron attract towards nitrogen, right? Then there is a resultant force towards upwards. So the NH3 again no issue. This is a polarized molecule. Right? Polarized molecule. No issues. But if you consider this one, just think H2O and carbon dioxide. So if you draw the Lewis structure of H2O, it's like this oxygen center again, hydrogen here, and two lone pairs you need to mount, right? Then 8 electrons complete. Always look at whether it's 8 electrons are completed in the atoms, except hydrogen and two molecules in our syllabus, AlCl3 and what is the other one? PCl5. In AlCl3, aluminium below octet. Yeah. PCl5 will expand phosphorus වල more than octet 10 electrons තියෙනවා. එතකොට exceptions තියෙන තුනයි AlCl3 වල aluminium PCl5 වල phosphorus and hydrogen. ඒ තුන octet complete වෙන්නේ නැහැ. අනිත් හැම එකකම බලන්න ඕනේ octet එක. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ පටේට 8 electrons completed කියලා 1 2 3 4 5 6 and hydrogen ගෙන් share වෙනවනේ. දෙක 8 electrons. Right. So here it's like this, and if I draw carbon dioxide one, I can draw a structure like this. Oxygen. So yeah, like this. Then looks like both are same, like අපි ගත්තොත් දැන් මේකේ electron negativity differences ගත්තොත් මෙතන තියෙන්නේ 3.5 2.1. So electron attract towards oxygen. Here 2.5. This is 3.5. 3.5. Electrons attract towards oxygen side. Right? It looks like opposite directions forces maybe attractions theory, electronegativity, attraction. But what happened in H2O is these lone pairs, they repel these bonds. Bonds කියන්නේ electrons, they repel these electrons, bonded electrons. Then this getting a shape, I don't think that's clear for you. So H2O, I'll draw here. So it's getting a shape like this. Because these lone pairs repel bonded electrons. Right? That's why it gets that kind of shape. But carbon dioxide, it's not like that because no lone pairs. That make it. NH3 වල that happen. අත්‍තරම අපි මේකේ shape එක ගත්තොත් දැන් O level chemistry වල ඒක නෑ. A level chemistry වලනේ shape molecule වල shape කතා කරනවා. ඒතර ඒකේ shape එක ගත්තොත් මේ වගේ මොකද අර මෙයා bond electrons repel කරන. ඒතර ඇත්තම shape එක මෙන්න මේක. But it doesn't matter. They don't expect from you. But in H2O, it's important because like that. Carbon dioxide polar one or non-polar one? It's a non-polar one. Non-polar one. Because make a resultant force එකක් නැහැ. Zero. මේ පැත්තට ඒක equal oxygen. But here, this is a polar one. Why? Because of these lone pairs. Since it has lone pairs, it has a asymmetrical electron distribution. Asymmetrical electron distribution. Right? එතකොට මෙතන අර FR එක CO වෙන්නේ. Right? It unequal to CO. දැන් මම explain කරන්න ආවේ polarity කියන එකට. There are two factors affecting. One is electronegativity, other one is electron distribution. Right? Electronegativity and electron distribution. So, එතකොට අපිට electronegativity සමහර ලාවට difference එකක් තියෙනවා. But sometimes electron distribution එක symmetrical වුණොත් එතන අපි මේක non polar විදිහට යන්නේ. මෙතන මම ලියා ගන්න electron distribution symmetrical. Electron distribution symmetrical. Symmetrical මෙතන asymmetrical. Electron distribution electron short form anyway asymmetrical. Right? Okay, so quickly write polarity කියන topic එකක් දාලා මේ if anything is not clear just ask. H2O එක තමයි මෙතන ඇදලා තියෙන්නේ. H2O එකම modify වෙනවා මෙන්න මේ වගේ structure එක තමයි තියෙන්නේ. අපි අඳින්න කොහොමද මේකනේ? This structure comes because of the rippling of these electrons, lone pairs. Right, quickly write and give me an update when you finish. And also draw the Lewis structures and of CH4 and CCl4. Lewis structures for CH4 and CCl4. So ඔයාලගේ errors බලන්න paper එකේ වෙලා තියෙන මොනවද mistakes errors නැත්නම් අපි weekly paper එකක් කරාට ඒක effective වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඔයා හරියට ඒකේ errors ටික බලන්නේ නැත්නම් මේක දැන් ඊළඟ paper එක වෙද්දී ඔය errors ටික correct කරන්න මොනවා හරි issues තියෙන lessons තියෙන නම් ඒවා ආයෙ පොඩ්ඩක් study කරන්න. Term test also coming. So ඒකටත් එක්ක හරියටම බලන්න කියන්නේ ආයෙ පස්සේ බලනවා ඒවා කියන්න එපා මොකද time is very limited. Make a proper timetable and work under that. That's the most important part. Right? Yeah. Time මේක schedule කරගන්න. නැත්නම් wedding යන්න වෙනවා, දාන ගෙවල්, funeral and school activities, classes. So there are a lot of things. එතකොට මේක manage කරන්න කොහොමද? 9 subjects manage කරන්න කොහොමද කියන එක එනවා. එතකොට අර time එක හරියට schedule කරගන්න එක is really important. Nice, it's අර විතර ඔය කියනවා result එක එනකොට තමයි ඒක තේරෙන්නේ. And every paper just expect at least 1% of body improvement at කියන එක 1% or 2% sorry. Then මේ paper එකේම MCQ questions I think pretty easier than the previous one. When I just see the marks distribution by having some high marks for MCQs. But some say that this is hard for that previous one. When පුළුවන් but නිකන් overall picture එක some having previous week එකට වඩා high marks තිබ්බා. එතකොට බලන්න ඉන්නේ average දැන් අර මම mark sheet එකක් share කරන්නේ. ඒක just don't ගොඩාක් මේක expect කරන්න එපා rank එකකින් එහෙම සම්බන්ධව. මොකද rank එකට වඩා important වෙන්නේ how your marks are located there and how කියන්නේ ඔයා position වෙන්නේ කොහොමද කියන්නේ. Position means like in MCQ wise what are the errors you have done. MCQ and essays also. How the first, second, third, that's not the thing because being online exam may anyone cheat කරන්නත් පුළුවන් කෙනෙක්ට ඕන. It's up to you but ඔයා හරියට කරන එක ඔයාගේ improvement එක. self improvement එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ නිසා බලන්න ඔයාගේ marks එක අනිත් අය කොහොමද score කරලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒතකොට ඔයාගේ මොනවද තියෙන errors මොනවද? ඒවා කොහොමද correct කරන්න කියන්නේ. And also maintain some consistency. I have seen some students like they score in some papers well and again go back. Like consistency එක maintain කරන්න බලන්න. මොකද finally අපි ගත්තොත් we can get idea about from your average marks. So average එකකින් තමයි අපිට O level වලට idea ගන්න වෙන්නේ. This student can score like this here. So consistency is important. I think finish. This part is finished. So CCL4 also did you draw? It's also like mega game CH like CH4. Yeah, it's 3.0, 2.5. So electron attraction towards chlorine, but electron distribution is symmetrical. So because of that, no resultant force. So symmetrical electron distribution. So this is methanamine. Structure where the effects. All these lone pairs are important. You can skip කරලා යනවා. That's no need, Kayla, but no, you are not drawing lone pairs, no marks. It's also not true. If you have any questions regarding this theory or what molecular component go ඒක පෝලද non-polar කියන එක confusion නම් just ask. Always like your WhatsApp chat එකේ දාන්න මම time එක හම්බුන ගමන් just I will reply you. Group, I think I make groups for registered ones. Most of you have groups, so just put message in group because I can access from any device. And past papers ටික කරන්න I will give you the recordings for that discussion as recordings. I still getting finding time because like A-level classes also I'm doing. So next exam comes. So give me some little time. August, I will record and I will share with you. Then every week, then only 4 questions. And also check marking scheme and check marks. I think some of you have I shared with you a Google Sheet. So, mark then you can also analyze which questions I have low marks, whether it's third one, fourth one, second one, which one, right? So then you can practice more. Then you have low marks for third question here. Third question comes from chemical bonds, quantification of elements, and structure of matter. Those 3 lessons mainly mainly lessons 2. A lessons 2 you can study and fix the third question. So question based you can study third, fourth, structured question definitely you need to write, and also essay. Essays also when you go at final levels you can decide which questions I can write, whether it's fifth one, sixth one, seventh one, eighth or ninth. මොකද මම essay question mark කර දෙන්නේ. ඒතර බලන්න ඔයාලගේ marks වැඩිම වෙන්නේ බයෝද, ෆිසික්ස්ද, කෙමිස්ට්‍රිද. Just you need to observe it. ගොඩක් වෙලාවට next month එකේදී මම MCQs පොඩක් drop කරලා essays වැඩි කරලා දෙයි. හොඳ time manage කරගන්නත් ඕන නිසා essays 3 essays දීලා MCQ ආයෙ පොඩක් drop කරලා ඒ විදිහට මම හිතන්නේ නෝ පොඩ adjust කරන්න ඊළඟ month එකේ 4 SCQs දෙන්න. එතකොට ඔයාලට ඒක finally we'll go for full papers. Last 2 months for full papers. Then sixth question which compound acts as the catalyst in production of ammonia by Haber process? I think answer is porous iron. Rate of reaction lesson, there's a under catalyst there's a table. What is a catalyst? So that also you need to know. So it's increase the rate of reaction, but catalyst වල තියෙන important එක තමයි they are not involved in the reaction. හරි ඒ කියන්නේ ඒකට මේ involve means like involving but ඒකේ add වෙන්නේ හරි වා catalyst එක කියන්නේ catalyst එක 5 grams add කරොත් ඒ 5 grams ම ආයි ගන්න පුළුවන් එළියට. හරි so they involved in the increased rate of reaction but they are not involving the chemical reaction. Chemical reaction की structure का change करना है. So go to that lesson if you can't remember that. And this table is important. So can you quickly write for answers for vanadium pentoxide, platinum, and nickel? In which industries they use? Quickly. Vanadium pentoxide used in which one? For production of sulfuric acid breaker. Then platinum for what? Platinum for manufacturing nitric acid, and also nickel for what? manufacturing margarine. And also at that part, uh, so I told you the rate of catalyst definition only. Take product on question after class you can complete that. What is a catalyst here? What is known as catalyst? So answer that. So proper definition is given here in your textbook. And this one also is very important for exams. H2O2 decomposite into H2O and O2. මේක all level past papers වල ගොඩක් frequently අහන reaction එකක්. මේකට catalyst එකක් දීලා තියෙනවා book එකේ. catalyst ඒ කියන්නේ rate of reaction increase කරන්න. What the catalyst here? That is MnO2, manganese dioxide. And also they mention inhibitor for this reaction. Inhibitor. Inhibitor means they reduce the rate of reaction. What's that? That is sulfuric, right? Practical page number 121. So under that practical, they mention this part. Most people miss this area. So make that put a highlight color here. It's very important for exam. And also, yeah, first write this. And after this, write. Okay, write this and write the factors also. What are the factors affecting for rate of reaction? Finish factors. I think you guys keep a separate book for discussions, right? හරියට maintain කරන්න notes එක මොකද මේ අර exam එකට අහන වගේ points ටික මම මෙතන දෙන්නේ. So it's very important to study this before exam. So what are the factors affecting rate of reaction? Temperature, surface area of reactants, and concentration. Concentration If it is a gaseous reactants, you call it as pressure. Pressure for gaseous ones. And catalyst. You have finished, just put a thumbs up. Okay. Then seventh one, which of the following hybridizations gives the genotype ratio 1 to 1? For this one, I think I get this from, I can't remember exact paper. I got this from some provincial paper, I think. But anyway, there's an issue with this question. Genotype ratio 1 to 1 කිව්වහම first one එකේ කොහොමද first one it's like this නේ. So gametes then maybe gametes දෙකක් form වෙනවා. Capital T and simple T. Here homozygous නේ. Just only simple T. So what are the offsprings? It's capital T, simple T, and simple T, simple T. If we make a tall, this one short. So I think you know this is genotype, phenotype. Here, genotype ratio is what? Genotype ratio is 1 to 1. And phenotype ratio also 1 to 1. Right? 1 to 1. And the second one, capital T, simple T. Make a capital T only they produce as the gametes. So here capital T and simple T. So offsprings and capital T and capital T, simple T. So both are tall. So here also genotype 1 to 1. 1 to 1 වෙනස් නේ. But phenotype it's 100% tall. So එතකොට මේ question එකට for genotype they ask, so first and second one both can accept. I think we gave marks for only first one, but මේක දැන් මම ඊයේ බලද්දී මේක discussion එකට ආයෙ කරන් බලද්දී second one also we can accept. But if they ask phenotype, then it's only first one. ඒකේ විතරයි 1 to 1 ratio එකක් තියෙන්නේ. Then third and fourth, anyway, we can reject again 100% tall, 100% short. So how did came? So how did came both are tall? Here, because capital T කියන homozygous, dominant homozygous. Not tall තමයි. Here it's heterozygous. But dominant allele එක capital T. So dominant allele is capital T. So because of that, tall feature comes as phenotype. I think you have learned in theories. This that dominant allele you decide the phenotype. Dominant allele එක phenotype එක decide කරන්නේ. එහෙම නොවන ඒවා තියෙනවා, but that's in A levels. But here it's very simple. Dominant allele is there. If it is dominant allele is there, then it decides the phenotype. දැන් මෙතන talk. But මේ short වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. මෙතන dominant allele එකක් නෑ. Only simple. So it's short. Right. So I think you are weak. Some guys are weak in this lesson. Just ask if you can't write and understand this again. Can you quickly write with the ratios also? Make a පොඩක් වෙන කලයකින් දාන්න ratio එක. Genotype means how those alleles are organized, and phenotype means how they exposed to outside world. අපිට පේන විදිය තමයි phenotype එක කියන්නේ. Quickly write and put a thumbs up because we are still in 8-7. Quickly move. Jihansa, Libya, finish. Okay, so 8-1 lang easy. Highest efficiency in LED bulbs. Practically also you know, but this theoretically they mention in your lesson. After heat lesson, you have electric appliances lesson. That lesson they mention what's the highest effective, if not the highest efficiency device bulb LED. Then ninth one, also I think I have drawn this graph before. If you have any issues with this, just tell me. අනිවාර්යෙන් mention කරන්න. ඔයාලා ප්‍රශ්න අහන්න නැතුව ඉන්න එපා දැන්. මේ වෙලාවේ වැටුණත් මොනවද තිබ්බත් දාන්න. මොකද මට ඒක ඊපස්සේ add කරගන්න පුළුවන්. මම ඊයේ නම් සමහර අයට messages send කරා මේ මොනවද specially discuss කරන්න ඕන questions කියලා. ඒකෙදි MCQ numbers and දාන්න. Then with the time we'll try to manage that. I also hope to discuss whole paper than at a very way, but from August like again end එක වෙනකම්ම දැන් අර සමහරවිට අපි skip කරනවා සමහර questions එහෙම නැතුව fully එක 3 hours or 3.5 hours කියලා fully finish කරන්න, then you can watch recording if you can't join live very way next time, but take a recording එක හරි බලන්න පුළුවන් නේ. බලමු දැන්ට නම් time එක පොඩ්ඩක් අර මගේ schedule එක manage balance කරන්න අමාරුයි, but I will try to manage that from August. and එතකොට කාර්ඩ් ඕන කෙනෙක්ට ඕන තැනකින් recording එක බලලා fix කරගන්න පුළුවන් තමන්ට තියෙන issue එක මොකද අර එක්කෙනාට තියෙන එක issues නේ. Okay, then ninth one, increase වෙන area එක graph එකේ I think it's this. So that initial period at static, then it goes for highest level, that is limiting friction, and then that constant line, which is dynamic friction, right? When the object is start to move, the value is friction value is EMA is getting the same value, right? I think second structured question asked from that. Second structured ගොඩක් අය marks අඩු වෙලා තිබ්බා. That question I taken from 23 government model paper. Again, fourth structured question එක තමයි. That's a little bit hard than other, but we'll try to discuss that today. So this is static, limiting, and dynamic. I'm not going to discuss because I think previously discussed. අර මම වගේ issues කරලා තියෙනවා just mention කරන්න මම ඒතකොට ඊළඟ week එකේ question එකේදී ආයෙ මේක discuss කරන්න. Then 10th one, 37 Celsius. What is the temperature of Kelvin scale? So you need to add 273, right? 273 and get the answer. That's 310 Kelvin. අර 7th එකට second one එකත් accept කරනවා. ඒක වෙනසක් තියෙනවා නම් just tell me කියන්නේ ඔයාලගේ group private group එකේ දාන්න මේක මගේ හරි කියලා මම marks වෙනස් කරනවා. Then 11th one moment they ask moment එක what's the equation? Moment equation force into distance. Simply ගත්තොත් මේ force into distance. හැබැයි අපි consider කරන්න ඕනේ perpendicular කියන theory. දැන් කියන්නේ මෙතන බලන්න. එන A තියෙනවා and force එක තියෙන්නේ perpendicular අපි කියනවා මේක line of force කියලා. Line of force එකත් එක්ක distance එක perpendicular. It's perpendicular, right? This one question in last 2 times in all levels. Then think like when we were force එකක් දුන්නා කියන්නේ ඔන්න F, right? The meter distance is 4 meters. The force එක done 5 Newton here. Then what happened? Can we take this length? No, right? Because this is not perpendicular. Make 90 degrees වලට තියෙනවා. එතකොට what we have to do, we need to consider the perpendicular distance. If we extend this, in here we can find a distance, that perpendicular distance to this line of force. I don't know whether you have done this in theories. මේ වගේ අපිට extend කරලා ගන්න පුළුවන් perpendicular distance එක. දැන් මේකේ value එක කීයද කියන එක I think they will mention some data for this. And then මෙතන Pythagoras apply කරන්න පුළුවන්. Since this is 90 degree angle, so then you can take the value of x and then calculate the moment. In question, they will support you with some data, but just understand the concept. So every time you need to get the perpendicular distance, right? Over then 2 years they question 24 paper 25 again. I don't know if it's mentioned 26 paper, but it's kind of a theory part that students are lack of knowledge, so that's why they check this again and again. Okay. ඕකම මම තව ඉමේජ් එකක් අදින්න ඕනද මෙහෙම ඇන්දොත් force එක කොහොම here also no 90 degree here. It's below than 90 degree. So then we need to find perpendicular direction from somewhere else. Right? Like this. Okay, තව method එකක් තියෙනවා force එක change කරන්න. But that's not in the syllabus. Force එකේ අපිට proportion එකක් ගන්නත් පුළුවන්. But ඒක O level වල නෑ. මේක තමයි up to you guys. So under O level syllabus, this type of question can come perpendicular direction every time you need to consider. Right. 11th question, 120 Newton meters. I think clear. 4 kilograms, 40 Newton, and 4 Newton into 3, that's 120. Just short these and I think you have finished. Then 12th one, largest two organelles තමයි මෙතන අපි select කරන්න ඕනේ light microscope එක. කෙනෙක් අපිට මේක argue කරන්නත් පුළුවන් it's a chloroplast also we can see mitochondria also we can see here. Sometimes, right? Sometimes it can be visible under high power of light microscope, but that's sometimes. But nucleus and central vacuole, it's every time you can see. Those are the largest organelles. So, ඒ දෙක select කරන්න මේවා equation එකක් වෙන වෙලාවට මොකද අනිත් ඒවා අර chloroplast එක visible වෙන්නත් පුළුවන් but it's not a clear දැන් මාත් වෙනම ලැබ් එකක් තියෙනවා ජපුර මේ මෙඩිකල් ෆැකල්ටි එකේ plants වල නම් අඩුයි but animal cell stage එක some organelles like we can see very light view එකක් ගන්න පුළුවන් but it's not clear but nucleus වගේ ඒවා very obvious. Right, okay, then 13th one. මෙතන පොඩි error එකක් තියෙන question එක what is the resistance නෙමෙයි what is the voltage difference what is the voltage difference between the terminals of 2 ohm resistor in the circuit. I think we have finished. I will do that one also since electricity some people are struggling with that lesson. So here you have 12-volt battery and 2 resistors here and 1 resistor here also and make the values mainly 4 ohm 4 ohm make a 4 ohm with a 2 ohm. Right? So can you quickly find the equivalent resistance of this area? Quickly find. I think some are okay with that, but we got a product equation here. Quickly answer ගන්න. So what the equation? 1 over R E equals 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2. So this is 1 over 4 plus 1 over 4. So you get 2 over 4. But then ගොඩක් අය මේක අමතක කරනවා මේක අපි reciprocal ගන්න ඕන කියන එක අපිට මේක අනිවාර්යෙන් cross multiply කරලා ගන්න වෙනවා. ඒතකොට 4 over 2 2 ohm වෙන්නේ. 2 ohm. එතකොට මෙතන 2 ohm මේක simple method එකක් තියෙනවා equivalent resistors ආවොත් ඒක දැන් දෙකක් නම් තියෙන්නේ 2 වලින් divide කරා නම් ඔයාලට answer එක එනවා. මෙතන ඉඳන් 4 ohm තුනක් connect කරලා තිබ්බා කියන්නේ. එතකොට ඔයාලට 3 වලින් divide කරා. මෙතන 4 connect කරලා තිබ්බනම් 4 වලින් divide කරන්න තියෙන්නේ. මෙච්චර මෙහෙම යන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. MCQ වල you have just 1 hour. So just short cut you use කරන්න වෙනවා but හැබැයි අර initially බෑ ඒක. මුලින්ම මේක practice වෙලා ඉන්න. ඊට පස්සේ පුළුවන් short cut වලින් answer එක ගන්න. දැන් මෙතන එතකොට 2 ohm වෙන්නේ. මේ unit එක 2 ohm. That means we can replace this part by a 2 ohm resistor. Right? 2 ohm resistor එකකින් replace කරන්න පුළුවන්. Right? So here it's 2 ohm. So then what happened when they asked the voltage difference? The method 2 ohm now equal both sides. Again, method 6 volt gap එකක් තියෙන්න ඕන. Method 6 volt gap එකක් තියෙන්න. That's the shortest path we can get the answer. If not, you can find the I here. දැන් මේක essay ප්‍රශ්නයක් නම් ඔහොම කියන්න බෑ. අපිට එතකොට මේක I value එක හොයාගන්න වෙනවා. I එක හොයන්න කොහොමද? We need to use V equals IR for the total circuit. Right? So the total voltage එක 12 volt, I දන්නේ R කියන්නේ 4 ohm. එතකොට I value එක එනවා 12 over 4, that's 3 amperes. Right? එතකොට මෙතන value එක, ඒ කියන්නේ මේක දැන් සම්පූර්ණ series නේ තියෙන්නේ. මේක parallel මොකද නැති නිසා all current එක යනවා සම්පූර්ණ wire එකේ. ඒක 3 amperes. Right? 3 amperes. Then what we do is we specifically apply V equals IR, Ohm's law for this 2 ohm. Because they ask for 2 ohm. So 2 ohm resistor එකට apply කරනවා. For 2 ohm resistor, then you will get V equals IR. V we don't know. I 3 amperes, R 4 and 4 2, then it's get 6 volt. Right? මේක තමයි අර essay question එකක් නම් then third question again, last part you have this kind of question, so you need to do like this to get all marks. But for MCQs shortcut පුළුවන්, but ඔයාට confidence තියෙන්න ඕනේ හරි කියන එක නැත්නම් අපරාධ marks. Okay, quickly write and give me an update. Finish. Right. Okay, so moving. 14th solution has H plus and Cl minus and water molecules. H plus and Cl minus ions only. No HCl there. So which means it's kind of a strong acid. Ions විතරක් නම් තියෙන්නේ. Totally ionized කියන එක. So දුව aqueous solution එක totally ionized now. It's a strong acid, right? Strong acid and පැත්තට strong base. Totally ionized mineral. So here's strong acid. 15th one, I think most of guys having issues. Just see. I think finished it. I did this. So 15th again, can you quickly draw treat these box may beakers and find the moles. Find the mole value of each one quickly. I'll erase this. First one, AKDNA, 1 mole, 1 mol minus 3 is the concentration. And 50 milliliters means mom make a decimeter. 50 milliliters can centimeters the cubic centimeters 50 cubic centimeters. And if you convert this to decimeters, it's 0.05 cubic decimeters. Right? Make a 0.05 cubic decimeters in method. A balance. A. B. B 1 mol dm minus 3 තමයි I 0.05 dm minus 2. දැන් මේ තුනේම ගත්තොත් මොකද වෙලාද? Equal volume and equal concentration. So no need to find moles for each one. So if you find first one, that mole value is 0.05 moles. So make it in but the compound is changed. Then first again HCl. HCl, when it ionizes in aqueous solution, it makes like this. Right? So here HCl 0.05 moles. HCl 0.05 moles. And total this 0.05 moles convert into H plus signs since it's a strong acid. Since it is a strong acid, may 0.05 convert to H plus. Right. Then second again, initial make a value එක වෙන්නේ 0.05 moles. 0.05 moles B. And make it H2SO4. Then make the equation H2SO4 H plus and SO4 2 minus. To balance this equation, I need to put 2 here. There are 2H plus 2H plus. Then initial one is 0.05 moles. Right? So, but then make a stoichiometric 1 to 2 ratio. 1 to 2 ratio is here. So then it will become 0.1 moles. H plus concentration 0.1 moles. Right. Then the third one, H2. Third, initial same. 1 mol dm minus 3, 0.05 dm 3, and maybe make it H2CO3 bicarbonate. Bicarbonate is a weak H2CO3 0.05 moles. Bicarbonate is a weak acid. Bicarbonate is a weak acid. No, I'll use the same one. Here H plus and CO3 2 minus. And then a balance current 2H plus dana. But remember, this is weak acid. Weak acid. So not all the H plus. The method is 0.05 but මෙතනින් proportion එකක් තමයි මේ පැත්තට යන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ නිකන් අපි හිතමු 50% කියන. 50% ගායක් තමයි යන්නේ. ඒතකොට 50% ගියොත් මේකේ යන්නේ ඒතකොට 0.25 එකක්. හැබැයි මේක ඩබල් වෙනවා වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒතකොට again 0.5 moles. This is just a random number, but proportion එකක් කියන්නේ. When proportion goes fraction එකක් කියනකොට අනිවාර්යෙන් මේකට වඩා මේක අඩු වෙන්න ඕනේ. Some people mention answer number මේකේ B.Sc equal කියලා දාලා තිබ්බා. B.Sc equal වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද this is a weak acid. This one is a strong acid. So that's why B.Sc is not equal. So මේක ගොඩක් මෙතන දැන් එතන මේ sorry මෙතන 0.5 නෙවෙයි 0.05. So mostly this one is way below than this one also. HCl වලට වඩා below යන්නේ. ඒතකොට අපිට ගන්න වෙන්නේ fourth one තමයි most possible answer. කියන්නේ B එකනේ highest මේක. ඒතර B highest level එකේ තිබ්බොත් fourth one තමයි අපිට accept කරන්න වෙන්නේ. හැබැයි දැන් මේ දෙක අතර පොඩි කෙනෙක් ටාගට් කරන්නත් පුළුවන්. A and C තර. but දැන් ඒ දෙක differentiate කරන්න තරම් අපිට data නැහැ. එතන B එක highest කියන idea එක fourth එකට තමයි. So I will accept fourth as the answer. Just write this, but make a just a 50% ionized වෙනවා කියලා ඔයවත් නැහැ. ඒක depend on the scenario. කොහොමද proportion එකක් තමයි ionized වෙන්නේ. Weak since it's a weak acid. ඔන්න මේ side එකේ පොඩි explanation එකකුත් ලියා ගන්න your own word. මොකද නැත්තම් පස්සේ බලද්දී පොඩි confusion එකක් තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. මේකත් 0.05 මේකත් 0.05 කියලා mention කරන this is a weak acid, so proportion can be changed. Right, finish. Put a thumbs up if you have finished. Within 16th one, there you need to calculate the trapezium area. Right, doing a displacement, something. Guys, just only calculate, I think, triangle. Yeah, but yeah, decide කරන time එකේ ඉඳලා මෙතන කියන a vehicle traveling in an expressway at a velocity of 26 m/s took a 1.5 seconds to stop by applying brakes in order to prevent an accident that could have made it decelerate from 8 seconds and stop. The velocity time graph relevant for above description is given beside. How much is the displacement of the vehicle from the moment of seeing the danger in the moment of stopping? ඒ කියන්නේ danger එක දැකලා ඒ time එකේ ඉඳලා stop කරනකම් එතකොට reaction time එකත් add වෙන්න ඕන. reaction time එකේ ඔයා කායක move කරන 5 seconds තියෙනවා. එතකොට for that I'm not going to do the calculation. So okay, time is going. 17th one, there also you need to have the equation. What the equation? Then kinetic energy half into mv squared. Just apply the values to here and get the answer. Right? So every time make a kilogram. ග්‍රෑම් වලින් ඇප්ලයි කරන්න එපා. මෙතන ඉෂුව එකක් නැහැ. කිලෝග්‍රෑම් දීලා තියෙන්නේ. half thousand then 50,000 110. Then 18th one, I think 18th one before just එතන කමනේ කටියට වේලන්ස් වල ඉෂුස් තියෙනවා. එන්නනේ XH2 නේ තියෙන්නේ. XH2 දුවාම ඒ කියන්නේ X තියෙනවා H තියෙනවා අපිට හම්බෙලා තියෙන XH2. ඒතර මේ 2 ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ X වලින් වෙන්න ඕන. මොකද හයිඩ්‍රජන් වල වේලන්ස් එක 1. මේක එනම් 2 වෙන්න ඕන. මේ දෙක මාරුනා තමයි finally you get XH2 X වල කියන්නේ 2. පස්සේ Mg3 Y2 තියෙනවා. Mg3 Y2. So Mg here, Y here. Magnesium valency, you should know that's 2. Y valency, what the number? So Mg3 Y2 and 2 magnesium 3 comes from Y. So change the number. That's how Mg3 Y2 comes. So answer is 8. Then X here, X value 2, Y value 3, then X3, Y2. Third one is the answer. And 19th one, what happens during closure of semilunar valves? Heart taking. In human heart, how many chambers? There are 4 chambers, right? There are 4 chambers. The upper chambers we called as atria. Lower chambers we called as ventricles. So right side atria and ventricles we called as right atria and right ventricle. So මේ පැත්ත තමයි right atria, ventricle, left atrium and left ventricle. So between atria and ventricle there are openings. So we call bicuspid and tricuspid valves. So 3 තියෙන පැත්තේ තියෙන tricuspid valve එක. Tricuspid bicuspid valve. And also, you know, there are 2 arteries start from ventricles. right ventricle start when artery what? Right ventricle give origin for which artery? That is pulmonary artery. Pulmonary කියන්නේ lungs කියන meaning pulmonary artery. මොකද මේක lungs වලට. ඒකට left ventricle වලින් start වෙනවා තව එකක්. ඒක මොකක්ද? Systemic circulation aorta. Full body එකට blood supply කරන artery, largest artery in the body. So here the starting point of pulmonary artery contains a valve called pulmonary valve. මේකට කියනවා ICS කියලා. Semi lunar valve කියලා. Both names starts. Aorta එකේ තියෙන valve එකට කියනවා aortic valve. ඒකටත් කියනවා aortic semilunar valve කියලා කියනවා. So these semilunar valves opens when these ventricles are contract. The ventricles contract with the blood එක pump වෙන්නේ. එතකොට මෙන්න මේ semilunar valves open වෙනවා. The ventricles close. Ventricles contract with the tricuspid and bicuspid valve. Open the closed. Quickly put in the chat when ventricles are contracting, what happened to tricuspid and bicuspid valve? Where it's closed or open? Quickly, time is going. Hello. The ventricles are contract. What happened to tricuspid and bicuspid valve? Tricuspid and bicuspid valves. Close, right? Close. What happened? Tricuspid and bicuspid are closed. Semilunar valves open and blood goes to aorta and pulmonary artery. Then cardiac cycle, I think, have you heard cardiac cycle? There are 3 phases of it. Right? So just study here. I don't know what Sidon here based 3 phases. එකේ තියෙන phase එකක් අර atria ventricle diastole කියන්නේ නැත්නම් කියනවා interval එකක් 0.4 seconds වල interval. So in that interval, what happened? Those blood against comes into what? Comes into atria. Atria වලට එනවා blood එක. Interval එකේ atria ventricular diastole. So දැන් එහෙම blood ආවට පස්සේ tricuspid bicuspid ඒ time එකේ open the closed. I asked another question that comes into your term list or paper. When diastole of ventricles and atria, tricuspid bicuspid valves open or closed? In the interval or the diastole of atria and ventricles, blood comes into atria and these 2 valves, tricuspid and bicuspid valves are open. and some part of blood goes to ventricles also. Gravity ventricle semilunar valves semilunar valves close, right? Because if semilunar valves are open, sometimes some part of blood can pass into inside of pulmonary artery or an aorta. ඒක ඉතර හොඳ නැහැ. මොකද blood එක it's need to take the proper time to pump with the correct pressure. Otherwise, low pressure in pump වුණොත් sometimes your brain to get proper oxygen and nutrition. So that's why those within the time of diastole of ventricles and atria, the semilunar valves are closed. Only tricuspid and bicuspid valves are open. මම මේකට එකක් කියාගෙන යන atrial contraction එකේ කියන්නේ atria contract කරන time එකේදී අනිවාර්යෙන් tricuspid bicuspid valve open, semilunar valves close. Then කෙනෙක් මම කියාගෙන යනකොට ඒ time එකේ semilunar valves close. Atrial contraction. Then second ventricular contraction. Ventricular contraction එකේදී semilunar valves open, tricuspid bicuspid valves they are closed. සමහර අයගේ effect issues තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක නම් child infant කාලෙම හැදෙන්න කරනවා. valves වල issues ඉඳලා සමහරලාට අර blood එක ආයි උඩට back flow එකක් වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. ඒ tricuspid bicuspid valve හරියට perform නොකරොත් ඒවා ප්‍රශ්න ඉතින් ඒවා correct කරගන්න ඉක්මනට surgery එකක් through. එතකොට third එක කිව්වා diastole and ventricular system එකේ tricuspid bicuspid valve open and semilunar valves closed. And fourth one, systole of atria and ventricles. Atria and ventricles දෙකම එකපාර systole. කියන්නේ දෙකම එකපාර contract වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ fourth point එක වැරදි. Systole of atria and ventricles කියන එක. Third එක first එකයි ඒ answers දෙක වෙනස් වෙන කොහොමද? අර atrial contraction එකේදී නෙමෙයි closure. අර අපි කියන්නේ incident එක වෙන්නේ closing part එක වෙන්නේ diastole එකේ. Diastole of ventricle and atria and ඒ තන closing එක වුණාට පස්සේ කොහොමද atrial contraction එකේදී close වෙනවා. ඒ state එකේම තියෙනවා. But closure of semilunar valves happens during the diastole of ventricle and atria. I think clear. But today's questions are less. So ask if you have any doubts. Right? Closure happens during diastole of atria and ventricles, and it continues in atrial contraction also. Right. Then 20th one, what is the most adverse and long-term consequence of pollution of coastal ecosystems with plastic? That's third one. It damages the marine organisms and entering into food chains. Right. Then 21st you can do ඒකට all දුන්නා මොකද ඒ question එක තාම කරන්න බෑ ඒක තියෙන්නේ electrochemistry වල. That question I think mistaken that good, but that question you can't do at this point. මොකද අපි කියලා තියෙන heat lesson එක coming out, so that's not in our scope, so I give all marks for everyone. Then 22nd, resistance of a straight factor. So mainly three factors given in your textbook, grade 10 textbook, the factors affecting for resistance. Can you quickly write what are the three factors? And put in the No, right. Before writing, can you put in the chat what are the three factors today? What are the three factors affecting or resistance of a conductor? Has answered. Yeah, correct. Three things. One is, yeah, Sandali and Parasite. Yeah, correct. Area of cross section. Area of section. Again, wire conductor may cross section. So, if the cross section or the cross sectional area is higher, what happens? More electrons can move through it. And then the an electron, more electrons can go through it. So which uh, if the cross-sectional area is increased, what happened? Resistance, resistance increase or decrease? Resistance decrease, right? Resistance decrease. Right. Then the other one is length. Length, when the length increase, what happened? The resistance. Resistance increase. මේකත් එක්ක cross sectional area එකත් එක්ක resistance resistance inversely proportional for the cross sectional area. Resistance directly proportional for the length. ඒක නිකන් හරියට ඔයාට වගේ දන්නවා ගෝල් ඉන්න කෙනෙක් කියලා ගෝල් ඉන්න කෙනෙක්ට ගෝල් ටවුන් එකට යනවට වඩා Colombo in it's kind of a resistance ඒකේ time එක වැඩි and cost එක වැඩි කම්මැලි එන්න ඒ වගේ resistance එකක් වෙනවා. So but if they are going to your hometown goal town then you can go east and it's going to Colombo. So that's like increase again resistance increase. And the third factor is material composition. Material then nichrome it has high resistance. Has high resistance. එතකොට අපිට ඔය ගොඩක් ලාට heat කරගන්න ඕන නම් මොකක් හරි අපි use කරන්නේ ඒ device වල nichrome කියන material. Then but normally we are using copper wires. Use කරන්නේ copper wires. Why we use copper wires? Because copper wires have a very low resistivity. Low resistivity. Copper wires. I think එතන answer එක වෙන්නේ A and C. For the second එක තියෙනවා resistance decreases when the temperature increases. No. දැන් මෙතන directly අපි factor the temperature ගත්තේ නැතුණා temperature also affect for the resistance. When you increase the temperature, what will happen? Resistance also increase. Right? Resistance also increase when you increase the temperature. Then 23rd, solubility factors we wrote previously. But definition means ask here. Third one, the maximum mass of solute which can be dissolved in 100 grams of water. 100 grams of water can make a solid one when at a certain temperature. Water when but වෙන ආන්සර් එකක් නෑ අපනේ water third day 100 grams of water but temperature is very important that you need to mention the temperature. Factors I asked you to write last week or before that week, so if you didn't write that එකත් add කරගන්න ඔය discussion එක what are the factors affecting solubility? Again, gaseous solute එකක් කියනවා නම් pressure එකයි temperature එකයි යනවා QA difference එක solute එක gaseous වෙනවා solute එක liquid වෙනවා නම් again normal nature of the solvent, nature of the solute and temperature. The other thing I mentioned, if it is a gaseous solute, what happens when you increase the temperature, solubility decreases. Solubility decreases. But if it is a liquid solute, what happens when you increase the temperature, solubility also increases. So both are increasing in liquid solute. So I think complete that. I'm not going to mention today. Then 24, 3 statements expressing student and 2 equilibrium forces acting on which object. So A and B. So forces are equal now. So yeah, A and B, 24. Then 25th, we discussed earlier, 15 and 5. If someone answered this third day mentioned third day possible, but here they mentioned collinear forces. Linear, same line of action. So එතකොට එන්න පුළුවන් එක්ක same direction නැත්නම් opposite direction. එක්ක 15 newton එක්ක 5 newton. Then make an angle උනා නම් third one also okay. 8 newton 12 newton. Yes. 8 newton and 12 newton possible angles but make it collinear. Contacts. Then 26th, answer the functions of the hydrochloric acid and renin. Hydrochloric acid doing the activation of pepsin, and renin only we can see in infants. So they're doing the coagulation of milk. So last week also I mentioned what are the two enzymes in stomach? Pepsin and renin. HCl is not an enzyme. Right? Can you mention 3 things that the stomach can absorb quickly? But it's in the text. What name 3 things that can be absorbed by the stomach? Quickly, I'll give 1 minute. More than normally absorbed in a small intestine, but 3-4 things absorbed in stomach. 3 things mentioned in your book. What are those? You don't know, just write water, some part of water, and the other one, some drugs, Panadol drugs, some drugs, and also glucose. Glucose means like currently glucose packets and methanol alcohol, but alcohol I think not in all level syllabus and not mentioned. Alcohol also absorbed in stomach. That's why I remember result happened. The stomach 3 hours to the stomach alcohol advanced biology කියනවා ටිකක් මේ අපේ මේ buccal cavity එකට alcohol absorb කරගන්න පුළුවන් quickly result හැක්කෙන්නේ ඒ නිසා 27 වල momentum අහන්නේ P equals mv right but make a varadin get a gram. If you didn't read it carefully, yes, I think you have applied 50 grams into 200, 2000. So this is from 50 grams. You can apply this here 0.05 kilograms into 2000. Right. Then the 28th one, the condition affect the blood supply to certain organ due to a blood clot in a blood vessel is called thrombosis. Blood clot එකක් නම් ඒක thrombosis. Right? The hypertension means sustained elevation of blood pressure. In ටික කාලයක් එක දිගට high blood pressure තියෙනවා නම් hypertension කියනවා. Atherosclerosis means that cholesterol deposition, right? High low density lipoprotein deposits on arterial walls. So it's called atherosclerosis. And angina means when your coronary arteries in the heart, when it block, like partially blocked, you have some kind of chest pain and it goes through your left hand. That pain we called as angina. Right? So that's also need to remember angina. Then 29th, four sexually transmitted diseases are given below. So what caused by bacteria? So 3, B and C, gonorrhea and syphilis. Gonorrhea and syphilis. The other two are viral conditions. Then 30th one, 420 joule amount of heat supplied to 100 grams of water. But the equation, I think you know now, heat again, Q equals MC theta. Theta is what? Theta is what? Temperature difference. Temperature difference. Now, short note back with them, power energy calculations කරන handwritten එකකුත් ඒක පොඩක් බලන්න. ඒක important වෙයි මේ papers වලට. කියන්නේ එක lessons වල තියෙන කීපයක් කොහොමද පුතේ තරගට. Then more short note back video. So theta is here. Here they ask theta, right? Temperature, find the level of temperature increasing. So here it's 420 joule and 100 grams can 0.1 kilogram. C is 4,200 J kg minus 1 minus Celsius and theta. We're going to Kelvin down to Kelvin the standard unit taker. So my unit taker you need to remember. So you will get answer as theta 1 Kelvin or 1 Celsius. Right. Then 31st, an electron flow is traveled through the AB conductor from A to B shown in the diagram. Select the correct statement. A first an electric current flow from A to B. Normally, electron flow එක තියෙන direction එකයි current direction එකයි conventional current direction කියලා කියනවා it's opposite directions නේ. එතකොට electron flow එක තියෙන direction එකට opposite direction තමයි current flow. එතකොට මෙතන electric current එක A to B නෙමෙයි ඒක B to A වෙනවා. Then the second one, an electric current flow from B to A. Yes, that's possible. That's okay. And third one, positive charges flow from A to B. And negative charges come A to B. And negative charges flow from B to A. That's also wrong. So second one is the answer. Then 32, myelin sheath transmits impulses. Correct. Transmit impulses to the cell body. No, myelin sheath function එක මොකද්ද? myelin sheath කියන්නේ axon එක අර cover කරන්නේ covering එක කොහොමද කියන්නේ? myelin sheath වල function එක තමයි increase the rate of impulse transmission. Okay? Transmission of impulse. Increase the rate of transmission of impulses. Speed up කරන එක තමයි වෙන්නේ. ඊට පස්සේ dendrites තියෙන්නේ cell body එකේ dendrites වලින් තමයි bring nerve impulses into the cell body. Right? Then මෙතන ආන්සර් දෙන්නේ transmit impulse away from the cell body නෑ towards cell body. එයා තමයි අරන් towards cell body. Right. Then third one, action transmit impulses away from the cell body. That's true. Transmit signals away from the cell body. Right. Fourth one, nucleus transmit impulses to the cell body. No. Nucleus is the controlling unit. Controlling unit is the nucleus as other cells. So 32, third one is the answer. Right. 33 then. Which one is not a characteristic of a homogeneous mixture? Composition is similar throughout the mixture. Yes, composition should be similar. And it is always transparent. In the mixtures lesson, homogeneous mixture definition. Definition means a description. So that part they mention what? In a homogeneous mixture. I'm making page number 33. Book එක තියෙනවනේ පොඩක් බලන්න. There it says in homogeneous mixture, the physical properties such as color, transparency, and density are identical everywhere. දැන් ඔගේ සමහරව හිතනවා මේ කියන්නේ මේක හැමතිස්සෙම transparent කියලා. එහෙම නැහැ. By experience also you know like every homogeneous mixture is not transparent. ඒ කියන්නේ transparency level එක. දැන් ඒ කියන්නේ අපිට level එක කියන්න පුළුවන් මේක කොච්චරක් transparent ද කියන. සමහර ඒවා 100% transparent, සමහර ඒවා 50%, සමහර ඒවා 100% not transparent එක. opaque වෙන්නම පුළුවන්. එතකොට සමහර translucent වගේ වෙනවා. I think ඒකේ levels තියෙනවනේ. ඒතකොට මේ කියන්නේ transparency එක. ඒ මොකක් හරි ඒ level එක ඒක unique. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒක consistent for everywhere. හැමතැනම එකම level එකක් තියෙනවා. එක තැනක transparent වෙලා අනිත් තැන translucent වෙන්නේ. හරි. ඒතකොට මේ කියන්නේ transparent කියන එක නෙමෙයි. සමහර අය ඒක ඇදලා නැතිව ඒතර color එක transparency එක and also the density identical everywhere. It's identical everywhere. So that's the thing I need to mention. So here it is always transparent characteristic. That's wrong. Third one, particle distribution is identical throughout the mixture. Yes, particle distribution is similar again. Consistent, similar distribution. Color is identical everywhere. That's also true. 33, Hari. 34th, I think we discussed earlier. This one, repeat question. But anyway, consider the following statements regarding the electromagnetic waves. A, the waves propagate perpendicular to the direction of both the electric and magnetic fields. That's correct. They don't require material medium for propagation. That's also true. And electric field and magnetic field are parallel to each other. No, they are perpendicular each other. Electromagnetic waves, sorry. Electromagnetic field and magnetic field are perpendicular to each other. So A, B are true. A, B are true. Therefore, first one is the answer. 35th, KOH solution is used in the experiment to show that carbon dioxide. So 35th, second one is the answer. You can understand. 36th, A, volume fraction. How to get volume fraction? Volume fraction, volume of solute volume of solute divide by volume of solution. Or in some calculations, volume of solute divide by volume of solute plus volume of solvent. මෙහෙම වෙන්න පුළුවන්. මේක අර අනිත් මේ mole fraction, mass fraction වලට common. මේක නම් solution නේ directly දීලා තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට we can go with this one. Right. So make answer 50 divided by 500. No need to change into decimeters or more same. එකම units වලින් දෙන්නේ. ඒකට change කරගන්න ඕනේ. So it's 0.1 fraction. අද කියන්නේ මේ units නෑ. මේක cubic centimeters denominator numerator දෙකම cubic centimeters. So then 37th, yeah, musical instruments, 3 times you learn. I mean, 3 types of musical instruments, wind, percussion, and string. So answer is 4. I think it's easy for you. And okay, our frequency will affect factors, you know, and native product note much better. I think we wrote previously. If not mentioned, ඒ කියන්නේ එකම දේ ආය repeat කරන්න ඕනත් නෑ. ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයාලට මතක නම් මොකද යවග හිතනවා ඔය වලට කලින් 1 week before බලනවා කියලා. ඒතර එකම දේ ආය දැන් repeat කරලා එහෙම කරන්නත් එපා. පොඩ්ඩයි smart විදියට ඔයා කලින් ලියලා නැත්තම් ලියන්න. Free spring instrument එක frequency එකට there are 3 factors they mention: length, tension, and the cross sectional area, those things. Because percussion instrument wind instrument one of the factors. So that type of question previously asked in MCQ paper. So if you complete there, no need. You didn't do, just do it. Colors use colors, highlighters, that's important. Yeah, I'm stuck with 9 subjects. කොහොමද නිකන් අමතකයි වගේ දේවල් හැක්කේනවා. ඒක ගණන් ගන්න එපා. මේ අමතකනකට වෙනවා නිකන්. Everything forget වගේ එකක් වෙනවා දෙකට. Due to take stress and everything. But it doesn't matter when you start writing papers that අර knowledge එක එනවා facts පාඩම් කරලා facts ටික flow එකෙන්. But initially like මට උනත් වෙලා තියෙනවා A level papers වල තියෙන සමහර පටන් ගන්න bio වගේ paper just blank වගේ but when you start writing you can write. Then 38 select the mismatch answer. මේක mismatch එක අහන්න සමහර වෙලාවට question එක හරියට read කරන්න නැතුව වැරද්ද ගත්තා කියමු බලමු විදියට. Mismatch answer regarding the food digestive enzymes of human. Starch is converted to maltose by tiling in the mouth cavity. Yes, truly. Second one, protein is converted to polypeptide by pepsin in stomach. True. Lipids are digested by lipase secreted from stomach. Lipase secreted lipase secreted by pancreas. Pancreas enzymes තුනක් secrete කරන අපි ලිව්වා. Trypsin, amylase, lipase. So lipase function they convert emulsified lipids into fatty acids and glycerol. So who is doing emulsification? Bile. Bile produced by liver, stored in gallbladder. Why? පාඩම් කරද්දී ඒ ටික ඔක්කොම ටික cover කරලා දාන්න. දැන් cover කරනවා කියන just remind it. Remind කරන්න මේ sequence එක. ඒතකොට ඒක ඉවරයි. question එකේ ළඟින් ගියොත් you can do it. So fourth one, Glucose is produced as the end product of the digestion of maltose in the small intestine. Yes, that's done in small intestine. Then 39th one, what is the byproduct that is obtained in extraction of salt? Salt extraction we learned late previously. Make it and one of the company our first tank company calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate first tank again. Second tank again calcium sulfate. Then sodium chloride. Then impurities with the magnesium chloride, magnesium sulfate again. එතකොට දැන් මේ එකක්වත් මෙතන නැහැ. එතන තියෙන gypsum කියන නේම මේක I think model paper question එකක් මේ වගේ ඒවා දෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් ඔයා කොච්චර science එක ඒ වගේ එක question එකක් වගේ දෙන්න පුළුවන්. කියන්නේ science දැන් කෙනෙක් අර science වලට යන ලව් නම් then you මේ search කරලා බලනවනේ සමහර ඒවා. එතකොට මේක හම්බ වෙනවා. ඒ වගේ එකක් තමයි මේ question එක කෙනෙක්ට මේක out of syllabus කියලා ඕල් හම්බෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. But I give marks මම මේක ඕනම් නිකන් search කරලා බලන්න මොනවද gypsum කියලා බලන්න. දැන් internet available නම් search කරලා බලන්න what is gypsum. So I'll also share my screen. So here it's gypsum is calcium sulfate, right? Calcium sulfate dot 2H2O. Again, මේකට වතුර දැම්මම වෙන mixture එක තමයි gypsum කියන්නේ. Calcium sulfate with water. Right? Because calcium sulfate dihydrate. So calcium sulfate is a product, it's a byproduct of natural answer gypsum third one. Right? Then the 40th one මේකෙත් question එකේ error එකක් තියෙනවා. 40th one. ඒකේ දැන් total internal reflection means මම ඒක පොඩ්ඩක් explain කරගෙන ඉවර කරන්න. ඕකේ දැන් තුනක් අපි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් graph තුනක් මේ diagrams තුනක් pick කරගෙන theory වල දැන් light ray එකක් dense medium making rare medium එකට enter වෙද්දී what happened? It goes away from the normal line. මේක normal line එක away. ඒතර මේක incident angle එක මේක refracted angle. So anyway, the angle is increased, right? දැන් මෙතන කියන angle එකට වඩා R I එකට වඩා R increase. ඊට පස්සේ second එකේදී මොකද වෙන්නේ? මෙතන light ray goes when you increase the incident angle further I එක තව increase කරොත් what happens at one moment it goes along the border between two media so එතනදී R එක 90 degree වෙනවා අන්න ඒ moment එකේදී අපි I වලට කියනවා special name එකක් මොකද්ද? ඒක තමයි critical angle කියන්නේ. critical moment. ඒ කියන්නේ critical කියන්නේ නැහැ. ඒතර මේක refraction නැති හරි එක. දැන් මේක reflection වෙන්න ගත්තොත් මොකද වෙන්නේ? ඒක නිකන් reflection වෙන්න යනවා කියන්නේ ඒක නිකන් critical situation එකක්. critical scenario එකක් කියන්නේ මේ ICU කියන්නේ ඒ වගේ මේ මේක වෙනස් වෙන යන්නේ refraction වෙන reflection වෙන යන්නේ reflection වෙන යන්නේ මෙතනින් පස්සේ මොකද වෙන්නේ light ray එක when you further increase the I එක තවත් increase කරොත් light ray again comes back to same medium so this is we called as what this is we called as total internal reflection. So here I is larger than critical angle. I is larger than critical angle. Right? So can you quickly draw this tree? Right, okay. So මෙතන එතකොට ගන්න වෙන්නේ 40th එකට LOM LOM වගේ එකක් නේ. but එහෙම ආන්සර් එකක් නෑ මෙතන. මොකද ඉන්සිඩන්ට් ඇන්ගල් එකක් ඉන්ක්‍රීස් වෙන්නේ. එතකොට wait. Sorry, it's a connection issue again. So again, not an LOM, but some people say it's AX. No, they just wrote the written answer, but yeah, it's I gave all for all students because no answer there. මේකේ XOM වගේ එකක් no එහෙමත් නෑ answer. Best එක වෙන්න ඕනේ LOM, but there's no answer like that. So okay. Then MCQs finish. So I'll move to essay part. Quickly get just 5 minute break, like then we'll meet with the essay එකේ මම bio එක skip කරන්නන්නේ bio එක okay නේ second එකෙන් start කරන්න essay එක මොකද ඒකේ ගොඩක් අය I think asked to explain that. Okay, just 8:35 8:40 I will start. See. I think muted. Didn't see the message. Okay, I just say maybe the SCQ, 4 SCQs again repeat. May so second SCQ biology and physics one we mentioned given to this week. So all 4 SCQs I will give in again. August වලදී SCQ 4ම ලියමු. Next month එකේදී අපි essays 3ම ලියමු. ලියලා අර පොඩක් චෙක් කරගමු. ආයෙත් ඔයාලගේ කියන. වඩ මං කිව්වේ මම කිය ඒක මියුට් වෙලා මේ if then may say marks well you can get a proper idea which questions you can score more. So like when you go for O levels you can decide which questions you can choose. ඔයාගේ marks physics වල අඩුයි නම් ඒ කියන්නේ ඒක දිගටම අඩුයි නම් average තියෙන්නේ ගොඩක් below නම් then physics එක choose කරන්න එපා. ඔයා bio and chemistry වලින් ඔයාලට මේක ගොඩ දාන්න පුළුවන්. Mostly A එකක්ම බැරි වුණත් sometimes B එකක් හරි ගන්න පුළුවන්. But then ඒ වගේ idea එකක් ගන්න පුළුවන් when you have this sheet. So if you don't have access for this, just send me the emails. Yeah, I will share that for you. මොකද මේකේ week 16 කලින් weeks වලක් තියෙන. ඒතකොට idea එක ගන්න පුළුවන්. මේකේ සමහර columns hide කරලා තියෙන. ඒවා ඔයාලට පුළුවන් unhide කරගන්න. මේ මොකද මම අර මෙතන නැත්තම් මේ sheet එක අර මට group එකේ දාන්න බැරි නම් මේ hide කරලා දෙන්න. නැත්තම් මේක stretch කරන්න පුළුවන්. මේ එතකොට then මේ essay structured එකේදී only one student having higher than 10 mark මිතාරගේ විතරයි තිබ්බේ 12 marks අනිත් අයගේ 10 තියෙනවා පාන්නගේ but other is below than 10 so but 10 above තියෙන්න ඕන හරි and physics 7th එක නම් at 15 above තිබ්බා ඉන්නවා but මේ සමහර අය ඉන්නවා මේක skip කරපුම ලියන්න නැතුව I don't know whether they don't know that මුකුත්ම දන්නේ නැති කියලා but මුකුත්ම දන්නේ නැත්නම් at least online videos හරි බලලා theory DP education එකේ තියෙනවා මොනවා හරි කොහෙන් හරි theory එක ඉක්මනට cover කරගන්න නැත්නම් it's a problem මේ මොකද අඩුම ගානේ 1 mark හරි 2 marks හරි ඒ කියන්නේ ඒ question එකේ ගන්න පුළුවන් කියන එක අපිට gradually improve කරගන්න පුළුවන් ලියන්න නැතුවම ඉන්න එපා without writing totally skipping means not an answer ඒක හදාගන්න ඕන හරි මේ DP education yeah it's kind of a bigger video but ඉතින් අපිට sources limit නේ ඉතින් free sources දැන් මගෙත් එහෙම recorded ඒවා අඩුයි දැන් අලුතෙන් තමයි මාත් record කරගෙන යන්නේ මේ නැත්තම් මට දෙන්න තිබ්බා but if you need to join grade 10 class එකක් නම් යනවා online ඒක ඔයාලට ඕන නම් මොනවා lesson එකක් cover කරගන්න ඒකට ඉන්න මේ lesson එකේ තියෙන දවස් බලලා මේ අර හැම week එකේම පොඩි හරි improvement එකක් expect කරගෙන ඉන්න නැත්නම් අපරාධ time එක සහ මේ ඔයාලා time එකයි and money එකම waste වෙනවා second එක අපි යමු එහෙනම් CQ එකට motor car travels on a horizontal straight way is shown by the diagram given below the frictional force exerted on the tires of vehicle is higher in PQ area than QR area දැන් මේකේ areas දෙකක් තියෙනවානේ PQ area එකයි QR area එක. ඒතර PQ area එකේ friction එක high කියලා කියනවා. මේකේ friction එක PQ friction එක higher low QR එකේ friction එකට වඩා. හරි. එතකොට දැන් ඊට පස්සේ කියනවා the frictional force act on the vehicle is 300 newtons when it travels from P to Q. Right, P to Q. So then frictional force act on the vehicle is 300 when it travels from P to Q. Means the vehicle is moving. Then the frictional force act on the vehicle is 300 when it travels from P to Q. Means the vehicle is moving. Then the frictional force act on the vehicle is 300 when it travels from P to Q. Means the vehicle is moving. Then the frictional force act on the vehicle is 300 when it travels from P to Q. මෙතන ෆ්‍රික්ෂනල් ෆෝස් එක 300 නිව්ටන්. හරි. ඒතර ඔය data ටික පොඩ්ඩක් මාක් කරගන්න. then කියනවා the engine gives continuous 300 newton force. ඒතර මේ vehicle එකේ engine එක it gives 300 newton for forward direction force, capital F. friction එක simple F වලින් මාක් friction. so එතකොට මේ PQ area එකේදී එහෙනම් මොකද වෙන්නේ? forward direction එකට 300 newton, backward direction එකට 300 newton. එහෙනම් මේක uniform velocity. uniform velocity. So uniform velocity. So here මේ දැන් මේකේ අහන reason ඒක ලියන්න ඕනේ no the forces are in equilibrium or no resultant force. There is no resultant force to forward direction or backward දෙන්නේ. කියන්නේ decelerate වෙනවා forward backward no decelerate. මේකේ මේ මාහින් ස්කීම් එක මම ෂෙයා කරන්නම් group එකට මේක ඉවර වුණාම මේ ඒකේ බලන්න සමහර අයගේ ආන්සර්ස් වල අර ඒකේ කම්ප්ලීට්නස් එක අඩුවක් කරගෙන ප්‍රශ්නෙන් තමයි මාක්ස් සමහර අයගේ අඩු කරලා තියෙන්නේ. එහෙමත් නැත්නම් ඔයාලට ඒකේ මොකක් හරි ආගියුමන්ට් එකක් තියෙනවා නම් group එකට මට දාන්න මේ සර් මේක නෑ මට එන්න ඕන මාක්ස් එන්න ඕන කියන හිතනවා. but my scheme එකත් එක පොඩ්ඩක් check කරන්න. ඒකේ දීලා තියෙන්නේ forces are in equilibrium or not applying external unbalanced force. Unbalanced force එකක් නෑ කියන්නේ කියවෙන්නේ. So one mark given there. And second question ඒකට ලියවෙන්න ඕනේ එහෙම. ඊට පස්සේ QR area එකේ මොකද වෙන්නේ? එතන friction එක අඩුයිනේ. ඒ කියන්නේ නිකන් හිතන්න මෙතන 200 newton කියන friction එක. then forward direction එකට 300 newton. engine power එක කොහොමද 300? backward තියෙන්නේ 200 newton. ඒ කියන්නේ මෙතනට unbalanced force එකක් තියෙනවා. unbalanced force එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒක 100 newton. The unbalanced force එකක් තියෙනවා කියන්නේ definitely we can apply Newton's second law, which means the object is accelerating. Right? Object is accelerating. So type of motion acceleration we see reason there is an unbalanced force. Then answer is applying an unbalanced force or applying a resultant force. You must both. Right? Then second one, okay, issue එකක් ආවා. What is the name given for the type of frictional force which applies on the motor car by the road? Then මේක අතර මේ model paper my scheme එකේ they mentioned, I think some of you have this paper 23 model paper. You can download it. There they mention static frictional force. But then this object is moving. Then anyway, then කොහොමත් QR වලදී නම් කොහොමත් ඒක dynamic friction තමයි. ඒ කියන්නේ object එක accelerate උත් වෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ frictional force එකට වඩා more engine force එක වැඩි. ඒක dynamic friction තමයි. But then PQ වල uniform velocity හින්දා just confusion නැතුව ඒක static ද dynamic ද කියලා මාත් පොඩ්ඩක් ඒක search කරලා බලුවා sources වලින් මේ නෑ object is moving නේ. එතකොට ඒක dynamic තමයි කියන්නේ. එතන equal forces equilibrium වුණාට අපි friction එක ගන්නේ dynamic. අත ඕනනම් පොඩ්ඩක් ආයේ AI එකකින් ගන්න search කරලා බලන්න මේ question එකත් upload කරලා මේ පොඩ්ඩක් that's good for you, your knowledge and for future questions. But model paper answer is given as static one. That's why Monday ලියපුවාගේ සමහරගේ ඕකේ මාක් හරි correct or wrong දාලා මම ඒක හැබැයි marks add කරා වලට 1 mark add කරන් ගියා Monday ලියපුවාගේ issue එක නිසා ඊට පස්සේ Thursday වෙද්දී අපි ඒකේ final conclusion එකට ආවා we give marks for dynamic friction කියලා. may so dynamic object is moving, but I think my scheme has some uh, error there. Uh, so dynamic friction is the answer. And the third question, name the one advantage and one disadvantage. Make it, there are a lot of lot of answers you have given, but according to my scheme, make you marks and some ඒකෙන් පොඩ්ඩක් ස්ලයිඩ් වෙන answers ඒ කියන්නේ අපිට accepted වගේ answers ගත්තා. ඒ කියන්නේ මායි අපේ wifi check කරේ so we accept some answers but somehow we reject. Advantage can move without advantage එකට දුන්නේ ගොඩක් can move without slipping. ඒ කියන්නේ ඔගේ accident එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Frictional force එක reduce වුණොත් එතකොට ඒක මේ slip වෙන එක without slipping we can move කියන එක තමයි advantage එක විදිහට ගත්තේ. Disadvantage of the tires were much faster. ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් ඔය yeah due to frictional force tires can wear. يعني ඉක්මනට ගෙවෙන්න පුළුවන් frictional force එක වැඩි වුණොත්. ඕනවට වඩා කියන්නේ සමහර tires වලට I think you don't know about this. I think no boys here. No boys here. The boys normally know that motorbike වලට like we are not giving more air. ඒකේ තියෙන 35 වගේ තියෙන එක level එකක් air pressure එක දාන්න ඕන. මොකද ඊට වැඩිය දැම්මොත් මේ ටයර් ෂොප් එකෙන්ම කියනවා මේක ඉක්මනට බෙයා වෙනවා කියලා. ටයර් මේ ඉක්මනට ගෙවෙන්න පුළුවන් මේ මොකද එතකොට රූස් ටික වැඩි ගොඩාක් එක්ස්පෝස් වෙනවනේ. Then that අර මේක මේ it touch with the carpet more. Then it quickly wear. Right? Then අර සමහර මේ සමහරලාට ඔක 38 40 වගේ යා ප්‍රෙෂර් එකට ඇප්ලයි සමහර අය ඒක ටයර් එකට දානවා යා ප්‍රෙෂර් එක 38 40 වගේ. That's too much. That's wears quickly. දැන් මේක කාවලත් එහෙම කාවලත් ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් රේන්ජ් එකක් තියෙනවා. මේ රේන්ජ් එකට තමයි යා ප්‍රෙෂර් එක ඇප්ලයි කරන්න ඕන. නැත්නම් යා වෙනවා මොකද ෆ්‍රික්ෂන් එක හයි එතන. ඕනකට වඩා ෆ්‍රික්ෂන් එකත් හොඳ නැහැ. ගාන්න තියෙනවා. ෆ්‍රික්ෂන් එක ලෝ වුණා ස්ලිප් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඉතින් ඔය අනිවාර්යෙන් ටයිම් ටු ටයිම් ඔය එයා ප්‍රෙෂර් එක චෙක් කරන්න වාහනවල. මොකද රේනි ඩේ එක ඇක්සිඩන්ට් වෙන්න පුළුවන් chance එක වැඩි. Then fourth one, the velocity time graph of the motion of the motor car after applying brakes. So here, one day people, I think I need to give some adjustment. Graph is not mentioned for that paper. Take a timing mistake. මම අර එදා Monday ලියලා ඊට පස්සේ Tuesday morning එක paper එකක් check කරලා මේ graph is missing. So then I quickly asked him to add the my graph again. But Thursday people, it's okay, like you have the graph. But Monday people, you don't have. I think it's better 2 marks. You know, දැන්ටත් මට 2 නෙමෙයි 3 තියෙනවා. මේ මාක්ස් වාගේ එක ඇඩ් වෙන්න ඕනේ. එහෙම වුණත් අර අතර බලමු මම ඇඩ් කරලා අප්ඩේට් එකක් දාන්න. මම MCQ එකක් නම් ඇඩ් කරා Monday ආයෙත් but මේක ඇඩ් කරන්න බැරි වුණා. මේකත් ඇඩ් කරන්න ඕනේ. But I need to check your paper whether why I'm gonna work hard. But some people just write there's an issue of question. What happened? Ah. Connection issue again. Wait, is the camera on? Give me a little time. Power failure comes. Yeah.
Recording in progress.
Okay, okay.